Now I'm going to be doing a review of a series that has just finished last week. It's a reality TV show, and it is, of course, called Celebrity Traitors. This series is so good. It's so good. Like, what an incredible TV show. One of the best TV shows of the year. The BBC have done it again. I know the BBC are in a little bit of trouble at the moment. But they have done it again, and it's just incredible. So this was the first time the UK has done Celebrity Traitors. Before it's always been non-celebrities. But they've done Celebrity Traitors in other countries, I believe. So this is the first time the UK has done it. And this is going to be spoilery McSpoilerson spoiler as a review, because I have lots to say about it. So, this show is the reason that it shows the reason why reality TV, non-scripted drama, just hits a bit differently to the drama that you get to see in movies and stuff. Obviously, there's some incredible emotions that I've had in the cinema this year. So, for example, I Swear just had me on the edge of tears and on the edge of laughter the whole way through that film. So well done. And you look at it and you go, that's a great performance. What a wonderful performance. But it's still a performance, right? This really isn't. Like, as much as these are all celebrities who are trained to be in the media and trained to be on TV and stuff, there's only so much you can do a performance for that amount of time. They are actually lying to each other and actually voting each other out and actually, doing the murders in the night. And so they've really, there's not much to pretend to do in terms of, they might have to play up their TV or media personality slightly, but in terms of the things that they need to do in the show, there's not much they can pretend. They've got to work it out, right? It's kind of real in that sense. So some of the celebrities that I absolutely loved in this, Stephen Fry, just one of the most charming, cleverest people you'll watch. Him just clocking it from the get-go. Like, it's kind of useless even having these roundtables because there's no way to really know if anyone's lying or not. And he said in one of the really early episodes, why don't we try a different strategy and we could just vote without having the debate, without having the arguments back and forth, because we want to eliminate the amount of influence that the traitors are going to have on this conversation, because we have no idea who the traitors are. We're all about to have a long conversation. Who knows how long these conversations actually last, but in the TV show it's like 10 to 15 minutes this scene. And he's like, yeah, we're going to have this long conversation where some of the traitors will be trying to influence and steer it, and we'll be falling for it because that's all we do. We just absorb and react to influences all the time. So we'll just be falling for it. So why not do it without the debate? Great idea. Another great idea he had is, okay, well, in like a later episode, he was like, okay, well, here's another thing we could try. The traitors have to stay up much later than the rest of us other celebrities. We get to go to bed, but the traitors have to stay up much later because they have to murder someone in the evening. So they've got to go up to the turret with all the cameras and stuff, and then they've got to choose who they're going to murder. And I guess that whole ordeal in TV world takes a while. So they get much less sleep. So let's look at who seems to be the absolute sleepiest. And he immediately clocked it with Kat, who is a traitor. He clocked it right away. Kat was asleep today, just by the windowsill. She was just asleep. He got it in like an objective sort of scientific way. He completely got the nail on the head, and that's so clever. Then you had Nick Mohammed, also extremely clever, saying early on, he was like, yeah, what I I kind of do believe Kat is a traitor and Jonathan is a traitor. So instead of voting them out in the round table, or banish them in the round table, I guess what I'm going to try and do is not make myself seem like a threat, because the other thing that the faithfuls have to do is not get murdered, right? So if I seem like someone who's completely on Cat Burns and Jonathan's side, like if Cat Burns hears me talking to other people going, oh no, I completely believe Cat is a faithful, or Jonathan Ross hears me going, oh yeah, I completely believe Jonathan's a faithful, and I chat with them really friendly, and they really think, okay, Nick Mohammed is completely unaware that we are traitors, so murdering him almost seems like a giant waste. Like, he's actually helping us, he's deflecting people away, but he was doing it kind of deliberately, right? And another really, really, really clever strategy. Obviously, as it got towards the end, it seemed obvious that, to me, it seemed obvious that Cat Burns wasn't gonna make it out, because she was the only girl left, and you know, this is the BBC. It's all about equality these days, so it just made sense that probably if there's 3 traitors, probably at least one of them is a girl, a female. So Kat was the only female left in the end. So I really, by the time we got to the last episode, I was like, well, she's not going to survive. She's definitely going to get voted off. She's the only female, so it just makes complete and utter sense for them to just vote her out. Joe Marler, a bit of a straight talker, you know, just hard to read if he's a little bit angry at you or if he's joking. And it might come across as a little bit, I don't know, a little bit antagonistic. But he was hitting the nail on the head as well. And he managed to get to the final episode. Just so many things. One of the things I did kind of notice was, whilst watching this, and I should have known this from the beginning, but let's say you start with 19 people, right? And you're going to start with 3 traitors. There's the first, like, I don't know, the first 5, 6, 7 round tables really don't matter in terms of banishing a traitor, because the show is never going to allow you to banish all the traitors so that there's 0 traitors by episode 3 or 4. The traitors are always going to have to recruit. So it really, absolutely 100% is completely and utterly pointless, or it makes no... You don't gain anything from voting out a traitor on episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, like, they're just going to recruit. They have to recruit so the TV show can go on. Like, those first bunch of banishings, there's no point even trying to find a traitor. What you should really be focusing on is not getting murdered. So I guess making yourself feel like not a threat, like Nick Mohammed was doing. But yeah, it really makes no difference. Those first few, like, yes, by the end, it makes a lot of difference because you need to get out all the traitors. And by, like, episode, you know, like the penultimate episode, you definitely got to get some traitors out. Even, I would say the last 3 round tables, you want to get traitors out at that point. But yeah, there's absolutely no point doing it at the beginning. They're just going to recruit. There will always just be traitors there. So you're not really winning anything or gaining anything by getting out a traitor in episode 1, 2, 3, or 4. You're just allowing people to be recruited, and that's extra things to add to your sort of mental analysis of everybody. So yeah. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the beauty of Alan Carr. Alan Carr is the MVP of the series. He was so good. So firstly, he's really, really witty, really, really funny, and just personable and likable. Now that ending, and I mentioned this before on maybe season 2 of The Traitors, but that ending, when he wins And he tells them, I am and always have been a traitor. And Nick goes, oh, fuck. And like David puts his head in his hands and they realize, fuck, they got it wrong. That is a moment for the ages, right? That is a moment where the UK gasped. I mean, really, it's the moment when Nick agreed to end it. So the flames went green after Nick agreed to end it. Like, it was so stupid of them to allow all three of them. They should have voted one more off. Now, maybe Nick didn't want to vote one more off because he's the one who could have get voted off, maybe. David was sort of clueless. Alan Carr was obviously wanting to end it because he's a traitor, so it was down to Nick. And, yeah, the flame went green and the whole of the UK gasped. And then Alan Carr said, I'm a traitor. And then the human moment came out. The real human moment. And this is something that, again, it's the unscripted nature of just incredible reality TV, game shows, these sort of things. The unscripted drama. He started crying because it had been eating him up a lot to lie to all of his peers every single day. Lie, and it got to the very last moment, and these two guys who had charities in mind that they wanted to give a bunch of this money to, he lied to them so that those charities wouldn't get that money and only Alan Carr's charity would get the money. And it tore him apart, and he broke down, he started crying. And he had been so strong throughout the whole show. And we've been watching him do like a performance, right, throughout the show. Almost like an acting, almost like a role. But like I said at the end, he had to let go of that pretense because he didn't need to hold that anymore, and he could just be human. And to be that deceitful to people is so hard on the soul, so hard on you. And seeing him break down and cry, it was just, this is a real human moment, and I'm so happy to witness it. And it's Alan Carr's stock has gone right up. It's just so good, and he's such a lovely human being. And this was just one of the most glorious endings of a show I've seen. What a wonderful, incredible ending to Celebrity Traitors. I hope they do Celebrity Traitors again. Who knows who they might have in it? Maybe Jimmy Carr. He would be quite good. I don't know. There's so many people they could have on there. Alison Hammond. But yeah, great show. What did you think? Were you just as astounded as me by that ending? It was so perfectly good. And just so dramatic and amazing. Like, I loved every single bloody second of it. Please, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know if you've sort of noticed what the movie is in the background. I always have a movie on in the background. If you can be the first person in the comments to type in the name of that movie, you will get 10 points, ladies and gentlemen. 10 whole points. That's what you will get. But yeah, what a freaking incredible series. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Smash that like button. I would just love it if you did that.